It's early February on the Baja coast, and after spending the previous 2 months meandering around the Loreto area, it's time for us to start sailing back to San Carlos, where we'll haul out Sea Clyde before heading off to Nepal. As we sailed out into Loreto Bay, we had seriously mixed feelings. Having spent 2 winters in the area, it was really starting to feel like home. We had made lots of new friends in the area and spent lots of time with old friends too. We cherished the familiarity of the bays and coves we anchored in, but most things must come to an end, and with less than a month left to go until our haul-out date, it was time to start making tracks north against the prevailing winter winds.
Pretty classic Gulf of California action here. Really short period, steep little waves. They're only about a foot, maybe a foot and a half by now. But they're definitely gonna grow, so we'll be bashing into this until we get up to Balandra or Coronado's 11 miles and 15 miles away respectively. But it's warm and sunny. We're having a nice time. Right, Kat?
Having a lovely, relaxing time here on the bridge deck.
As is often the case along the Baja coast, the winds kept us on our toes. It steadily increased, forcing us to reef, only for it to decrease half an hour later. As we shook out the reef, an impressively large swell train suddenly rolled in. This place never ceases to surprise us.
Wow, hello there! Crazy! Where are you guys coming from? Wow.
Wow, look at that! Wow! Wow.
Cruising along, the wind has been fluctuating a bit. Now we're galloping across the waves as the wind has shifted. I suspect once we get close to the island, it'll shift back into a better angle for us. But nonetheless, we're about 5 miles out from Balandra on Isla Carmen. So we're going to carry on to there. I was contemplating going towards Coronado's, but the waves are enormous out there relative to this wind. So best just to go to the closest spot with the least trouble ahead of us. Well, with about 2 miles to go, the wind is fluctuating madly, and with these big seas, we weren't making any progress anymore. So we've kicked the engine on and motoring this last 15 or 20 minutes in. Unfortunately, Kat's got a bit seasick and it succumbed to it just with the last 2 miles left to go. Anyways, we're gonna get our way into this nice anchorage where we should be in really protected waters in just about 15 or 20 minutes.
The tides in this area are very minimal, which makes anchoring a lot more simple than back home where we have to deal with tidal swings greater than 20 feet in some areas. With tidal fluctuations of only a few feet in the Loreto area, we're comfortable anchoring in some pretty shallow water, so often we end up finding a nice spot ahead of the rest of the boats who are not willing to nudge into the shallow water at the heads of the bays. Tucked into the bay, we had a peaceful night away from the swell that was wrapping into parts of this anchorage.
Oh, good morning. This little sport fishing boat just came bombing into the anchorage and threw a whole bunch of wake and went within probably 10 or 15 feet of the boat behind us here and just completely rocked it. Rocked us pretty good. Went ashore, wandering around peeing and yelling. And then now they're just leaving, and we could hear one of the guys say, "Wake their asses up," and then turned a bunch of music on. At least on the way out, they decided to not throw a whole bunch of wake up and waited till past the last boat to get ripping. But yeah, weird vibes from this sport fishing crowd sometimes. We've had a few of them do stuff like that over at Coronado's. One came in just raised before the sun was getting up, so we were still in bed or maybe just getting up, and went within a couple boat lengths of us but went way out of their way to specifically do it. So strange attitude, very different than the sailing folks, it would seem. Well, it's fast out of the gate here, a bit gusty. Probably gonna have to chuck a reef in pretty soon, but the waters are basically flat. So we got Coronados in our sights, but we can go further if we're having a good time. And yeah, it's a beautiful hot day out here. Well, we tried and the wind is just not cooperating, so we're gonna head to Coronados for the night. It'll be nice to say goodbye to this spot. We spent a lot of time here. Of course, the wind will probably pick up as soon as we anchor, but we're pulling the plug and just gonna go relax in the lee of this beautiful island. And hopefully the swell is less tomorrow, and there's a bit of breeze. There's at least 7 knots forecast. And so yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. But for now, we've gotten sick of this, the swell rolling in. Just rocking us and not making any real progress. So we'll go anchor up, enjoy the evening. Well, we're busy taking sails down. The dolphins have come to say hello. Lighting here is remarkable right now with this white sand. It's just like, feels like there's a big bright light shining on it. Because the moon is above us too. But this is probably our goodbye to Coronados now. Hopefully there's wind to get us out of here tomorrow. But yeah, what a beautiful spot. Got a little seaweed gunk on our anchor here. Just gotta get back to the helm. We're underway out of Coronados for likely the last time. Yeah. The challenging light wind continues. I've almost died, and now it's picked up from the south, so let's see what happens here. It looks a little bit better ahead, and the forecast is for it to get stronger a little later. And when I say stronger, I mean like 8 knots, so we'll see. We put the whisker pole out, still sort of learning the ropes of it, but it's sure helpful when there's this bit of chop and the wind is so light. And this little southerly is starting to pick up, so fingers crossed it holds up.
Oh my goodness! We are sailing and we're going almost 5.5 knots and it's lovely. I didn't think it was possible anymore here in the Gulf of California. We still probably have 15 miles to go to make it to our intended destination of San Juanico. So I'm hopeful that we'll actually make it today.
Little wispies starting again. on our way. We're only about 8 miles to go. The wind has been pretty steady now, and we're cruising along at a nice 4 knots, 4.5 knots. Yeah, it's good going, and we're looking forward to getting into anchor at probably a reasonable time. Woo!
It's very good. Very, very good. I don't know if we'll ever make it to San Juanico. It's been a very on and off kind of day. We thought we would make it in 1 tack, maybe 2, but here we are, still 4 tacks away. Yeah, that's kind of the game. We're still tacking. It's still ahead of us. We're getting closer every moment, and we still have winds, and the seas are still low, but we're still tacking, and we're still en route to San Juanico.
Yeah, so the angle keeps changing on us, and we keep thinking this is the tack, and then it's not. But this should be the last 2 coming up here. We'll see.
San Juanico ended up being our favorite Baja anchorage. Surrounded by white sand beaches and craggy pinnacles, it's absolutely beautiful. There's great hiking along the roads and trails on the surrounding ridges, and excellent snorkeling as well. For Baja standards, the anchorage is well protected, though one does need to keep an eye on the wind direction. We spent a lovely 2 nights in San Juanico. With lots of socializing with fellow cruisers, we decided to put the cameras down for the visit. If you'd like to see more of this wonderful spot, hit the link here for a video of our previous visit.
It's about 7 a.m. Bit of a chilly start to the day with the wind coming off the land, but we're getting ready to set sail. Should sail off anchor here, no problem. Our friends Peter and Kate on Mucho Gusto have already left at some point. And another fellow we met named Bo is on his way as well on his trimaran. So it looks like there'll be a few boats heading north along with us. We'll see if some other folks follow. Look at it cutting, like, nice, wow. So the forecast for the day is kind of all over the place, and we were debating when we were going to leave. Yesterday it seemed like now would be a great time, and so far it's really great. It's nicely coming off the land, so the seas are really small. There is a little bit of swell that developed overnight coming from the north, but nothing to be concerned about. And yeah, we're just cruising along right around 5 knots or so, a little bit variable as it comes off the land. And by 10 or 11 it's supposed to subside and then switch to northeast. So that might work out fairly well for us because we're going to be going up to a coast that kind of faces northwest. So if we're on that tack, we should be able to just carry on. So we'll see what happens. Forecasts are forecasts, they're not what's exactly going to happen, as we learn over and over again. It's easy to get kind of caught up in looking at the model and really like basing your day completely on what the model is saying, when in reality, especially when it's lighter conditions, it might just not happen at all, or it's going to be something completely different, which we've experienced over and over again this season. So we're really pleased with this, though. This is nice sailing. Well, about 20 minutes later, after we were bombing along at 6.5 knots, we're going 1 knot, and the wind's kind of variable or calm, so we'll see what's up ahead here.
After several hours bobbing around and only making a few miles, we decided to kick the engine on to get up to a wind line a little ways north. We spent about an hour motoring, but as forecasted, the winds kicked up out of the northeast, allowing us to continue north on a single tack. This is a very desolate stretch of coast with no real anchorages for some 40 miles between Punta Pulpito and Santo Domingo. Once you go past the point, you're committed to continuing.
Really humpback. We're slowly creeping our way up this here coast. Cat thinks that's funny. And I think we're about 12 miles till we can turn the corner now. And it's very slow going. We're going 2.5 knots. But there's a full moon tonight. As soon as the sun sets, the moon's up. That'll be a pleasant thing to do, just to carry on sailing. So I think if we drop below 1.5 knots, we'll probably turn the engine on. But this is fine. This is fine. Hey, Kat?
Yeah. It's just like chilling, listening to podcasts. I wish we had downloaded more.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Here we are. Well, we were making very, very little progress trying to tack into this and only going like 2.5 knots, and the angle was getting worse. So we have kicked on the Iron Horse, and we're gonna probably end up motoring most of the rest of the way. Once we get to the top of the peninsula, we should be able to sail the last bit. The wind's still good. But it'll be a late one, but the full moon's just coming up behind me, and really, really pretty, so it'll be nice and bright. And we'll just make our way into Santo Domingo. It's a spot we've been into, so we got little spots where we've anchored in there. We know the lay of land, so no sweat there. That's pretty fun. Some dolphins jumping around, and then our friends on Mucho Gusto just invited us for breakfast over the loudspeaker. Us yelling back and forth as the dolphins played. It feels really nice to be back at Santo Domingo. It's a really beautiful spot.
I love it here.
It's yet another lovely morning here in the Baja coast. And we're getting set to do a bit longer of a hike. Something like, what's it going to be, Kat? 7 miles? 8 miles?
Maybe closer. I think it says like 4.5 one way, so.
All right.
A little bit longer. We'll see how hot it is or how nice it is. Mm-hmm. And our other option is too, so it's like following an old road, and it noted in an All Trails report that it's kind of hard to find somewhere, so they recommended downloading the map and then just trying to look at where you're at using GPS. But maybe too, because we're gonna walk to the other side of the peninsula, and maybe we're excited, or it's nicer to walk along the coastline back, so it might be a little bit longer, but it could also be potentially a little bit cooler getting a sea breeze. We'll see. Okay, well, I'm along for the journey. Kat's got this one all lined up, and yeah, looking forward to exercising and seeing the beautiful desert landscape, and then having rewarding swims on either side, because it's going to be a bit of a hot one today.
hot out, eh?
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, but there's a nice cool breeze that we catch here and there that feels like it just barely keeps off the crankiness from me.
Yeah, cat gets cranky in the heat sometimes, eh?
I do.
Yeah. Oh, this is cool.
What?
Shiny. Lots of little crystals.
Yeah, this is for you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Yeah. It's like the only good rock because water runs across it sometimes, eh?
Wow, yeah, you could totally climb this. Wow. That's cool. Yeah! We just saw a road runner just scramble, run up this cliff. It was so cool.
We're on the interstate of Arroyos. Still following these tire tracks. We're, I think, a mile or a mile and a half to the ocean now. Wind's picking up. Been lovely. Nice bit of exercise one can get across this peninsula out to the Gulf of California. If you're missing it and missing the waves that hammer you around while you sail through here, we'll take a look at them. Poor cactus skeleton. Okay, made it across.
Oh, what's that?
It's a reef. And there's a flamingo. I mean, pelican. Similar. So something I find remarkable is how this body of water can be this calm some days. Big body of water. And completely a mess others, even within a few hours. It's just incredible. Pretty neat that, yeah, the fetch I think to our north here is 300 miles, something like that, at least, before there's some islands in the way and it goes another couple hundred miles and there's zero swell, so it's a real calm day throughout the whole Gulf of California. We're well on our way back to Santo Domingo. We're almost at our high point at what, 400 and something feet?
434.
Yeah. But it's getting hot. We're feeling hot. Pretty good hike we're on. It's gonna be what, 8-9 miles round trip?
11.
11. Oof. Yeah, off the couch 11's not very far, but kind of is when you haven't walked more than a mile in a while. That rhymes, eh? A mile in a while. All right, we're back at the beach and it feels very nice. I'm gonna go relax on the boat.
Can you take?
What are you up to, Kat?
I'm digging in our food bin to try to find.
What's in there? There it is.
Yeah. This beautiful half a pink salmon, Alaska pink salmon from Taku Inlet that I caught over 2.5 years ago. 2 3/4 years ago. I actually caught it just about the same time I met Trevor, so we're going to eat it for Valentine's Day dinner. And also because we haven't caught any fish here.
I also haven't tried catching any fish, so there's that problem as well. But we had good luck fishing around here last time, and we're going to be back at this spot for a few times. And there was good fishing down at Santa Spec where we're going tomorrow. So I'm just feeling a little tired after that hike. But beautiful evening. Gorgeous sunset, hey?
Yum.
Smoked salmon.
Get every last drip. Salmon! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to go to Alaska.
We're definitely getting very excited to go to Alaska, to sail to Alaska via Hawaii, and all the good fishing that we're going to get, and beautiful mountain scenery, a real change of the scenery that we are loving here, but to be back in the mountains and the green forest is going to be amazing. And really nice anchorages that are super protected from all directions. It will be really nice.
Get all the angles. let the sand go off.
All right, we're underway. That was easy. Who needs an engine, right?
Bye-bye.
Excellent sailing right out of the gate. Glad we waited. This is a nice field and breeze that should get us to Santos back in a real hurry after a nice morning of relaxing.
Our sail into Bahía Concepción was pretty much a carbon copy of the first time we visited the area. Moderate northerly winds slowly increased as we approached Bahía San Aspect, then accelerated and became very squirrely while rounding the corner into the anchorage. As the winds gusted over the hills, we tacked our way into the bay, then reached to a nice little spot on the west side of the anchorage, which promised much more wind protection. Nearing the spot we picked out, we slowed down by rolling in the genoa before dropping the anchor. While we usually do a good job of judging our distances to other boats, today we missed it. But hey, cheers to more sailing on and off anchoring practice.
Where we ended up was a little closer than we need to be to some other boats, so we're going to actually sail off anchor again and go anchor again.
It's a very exciting day. I am going to attach these really beautiful Mexican tiles to our galley. So yeah, I roughed this up with some sandpaper because this is a pretty smooth surface and wiped it down. And a lot of times I think people use like a very specific tile adhesive, but we're just using some epoxy because that's what we have on board and it should work just fine. So it's going to be organic. I'm not like measuring out super specifically. It's more to the eye. These three, I guess.
Yeah, two.
Can you hold that? Can you hold that? I am sanding this really beautiful piece of purple heartwood that we believe came from Africa, random, but we picked it up from a guy named Garth, and he helped cut it to just about the right dimensions, but I'm just slowly sanding off the end so that it fits perfectly above the tiles that I put in. And then I'll do the grout work, and bada bing, bada boom. We'll have a beautiful galley. I love doing projects like this. It's very satisfying. I like how imperfect it is.
Yes.
It's like, I think, one of the lessons of Mexico.
Nice.
Oh, baby! Look at that! It is so satisfying.
Nice.
Oh, it's beautiful!
Cool.
Okay.
The breeze is up and we're going to get going. We're going to start with a reef because we're going to likely be close hauled against up to 20 knots. So we definitely need a reef for that. So as we raise the sail, we'll put the reef in and then be on our way, sailing off anchor.
We spent a few days anchored in Santa's Pack, doing some boat chores and enjoying the hot springs and beach walks, and meeting some new friends, Elise and Colas. As we sailed off anchor to head to Molokai, Colas escorted us out of the bay aboard his sweet homemade sailing dinghy.
Nice. Good maneuvering, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. Settle your weight right now.
Once again, the winds were very similar as we made our way up to Molokai. Strong and huffy winds deeper in the bay gradually became lighter and lighter as we approached the anchorage off the river mouth of Molokai. Despite some pretty slow meandering, we did manage to make this our second engine-free sail in a row. After a bit of a rolly night aboard, we headed up the river into town to stock up on groceries in anticipation of the arrival of our friends Isabel and Rain, who were joining us for a week aboard. We didn't record much while they were here, but we all enjoyed some slow sailing, some fast sailing, and a pleasant stop at Santo Domingo before heading back to Santa's Pack to hide out from a norte that was developing. There we enjoyed lots of chilling, snorkeling, dinghy sailing, and socializing with a group of fellow youngish sailors. With a nice weather window appearing for Kat and I to get across the Gulf of California to San Carlos, Isabel and Rain jumped off at Santa's Pack, and we returned once more to Santo Domingo to stage for the 78-mile journey to the mainland. We were treated to a picture-perfect sail right into the anchorage, sailing yet again off and on anchor. This marked 2 weeks since we touched the engine despite having gone sailing 5 times.
All right, well, the forecast sometimes is horribly wrong, and today it was so right. It's amazing. It started right when it said it would, and it said there would be this wind line kind of just north of here, and it was actually there. And it said the wind would die at 4. It's about 4. That's sweet. So we just anchored, and the wind has just peaced out. We're going to hang out, swim, go for a stroll.
At Santo Domingo, we settled into the cockpit as the sun dipped behind the mountains, casting warm light across the calm bay. Wrapped in blankets and sipping tea, we watched another Baja sunset unfold. Quiet, expansive, and familiar by now. As the sky shifted through deep oranges and soft purples, we found ourselves reflecting on the last 4 months spent slowly sailing along this wonderful coastline. From quiet anchorages to small fishing towns, long sails to still nights under the stars, it had blurred into something both simple and unforgettable.
It's a beautiful morning here at Santo Domingo, and just perfect for us to start our trip across to San Carlos. We have 78 miles to make, and so in theory we could get there near sunset, but more likely we'll get there just a little after dark, and that's okay. We probably could have left an hour or 2 ago. This little southerly did kick up, but we feel comfortable going into that harbor in the dark. We've been there before. It's actually well marked with some lights, and so we're going to get going. We're going to sail off anchor. We haven't used the engine for 2 whole weeks now. And yeah, let's get going for our last sail of this part of the season before we leave the boat for 2 months. All right, we are underway to San Carlos.
Excellent sailing quickly brought us around the top of the peninsula that makes up the eastern shore of Bahía Concepción and out to the open Gulf of California. A small bank of clouds to the east, illuminated by the rising sun, created a beautiful sunrise as we waved goodbye to the cruising life on the Baja coast. As is often the case around here, the perfect breeze that greeted us in the morning unceremoniously disappeared, leaving us struggling to even maintain steerage.
Well, it's been pretty mellow, but we've not been becalmed completely at any point. We went down to about 0.8 knots for a while. It's attempting to pick it back up, and for a little while it was northerly, which is not in the forecast, and now it's flipped back to southerly, so I'm optimistic it's going to pick up, and we're going to be making some better tracks. But we've made maybe 10 miles or something, or not quite, but we're on our way. These longer crossings, you just make do with what you get. I'm not of the opinion that you should just kick the engine on every time the wind dies, because it's a long way to motor.
As we waited for the wind to come back, a freighter appeared on the horizon, which is a real rarity in this region. Upon checking the CPA, which stands for Closest Point of Approach, on the AIS, which stands for Automatic Identification System, we saw that it was on a collision course with us. After a quick radio chat, the crew happily agreed to alter course and keep at least a mile from us. It took 3 hours of very slow sailing before the southerly breeze returned and sent us on our way.
Muy bueno.
Yeah, Sea Dream's got the zoomies now. Still nice flat seas out here, and we're cruising along at 5.5 knots. Feeling a little sleepy, eh?
Yeah.
Me too. Got quite a lot of distance left, but it's nice that it's picked up and we're getting what the forecast promised. Just a little tad late. It's all good. The sun is setting. We're definitely not going to make it to the harbor before the sunset. I think we're about probably 33 or 35 miles away. Yeah, but it's good sailing still. Cruising along, 4.5, 5 knots. Been like this for hours, and that's great.
Oh, we just ate some pasta dinner and been listening to podcasts all day.
Yep, passing the time on this big 78-mile journey. Woo! Yeah. Hey, meow.
Meow meow.
Sunset.
Pretty. It's very pretty out.
We made it across the Gulf of California. Took us 21 hours, lots of very slow sailing, and then some drifting for a little bit before we...
Motoring.
Yeah, we bit the boat.
5 hours of motoring.
Bit the bullet and turned the engine on, which is rare for us, as viewers will know. We'd actually been on a 2-week streak of not using the engine, so I was really hoping we could have made it all the way to the harbor.
But I am very grateful that at 11:30 at night, you're like, let's turn on the engine.
Yeah, yeah, it was time. It wasn't too rough out there. I think we could have just dropped sails and been...
Which would have also been really nice
Yeah.
to just like float around out there and look at the stars. The stars were really beautiful. The bioluminescence were really lovely. And there was whales.
They came right by us.
Yeah, and later on dolphins when we did have the motor on. But we made it at about 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah. If we had waited, we would have been out in this fog, no doubt. So I'm quite happy not to be out in the fog at this moment in time. So
Yeah. So today we're just kicking it and just resting and hanging out. And then tomorrow we're probably going to move into the Marina and start all of our chores and getting the boat ready essentially to sail to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Minus fresh food.
Yeah.
And water. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Time to go edit video.
The fog flowing over the ridges into the bay was eventually replaced by a more typical westerly wind that hammers San Carlos in the afternoons almost every single day. While this diurnal breeze can be a nuisance, it typically dissipates a little after sunset, making for reliably peaceful nights. Now rested up after our 21-hour crossing from the Baja Peninsula, we hauled up the anchor and headed into the Marina to get Sea Dream Clyde all set up for our 2 months away.
Feels a little sad, eh?
It's a little sad. Back to civilization and like people zooming around all over the place. All of a sudden I acknowledge that we're just about to go do dangerous things. Like being on roads and flying in airplanes. I don't know if that's that dangerous, but
Relatively speaking.
it was so simple out there and now we're going into chaos.
4 months later, we are back in San Carlos in the Marina on Sea Dock, and just going to get to work tucking the boat away. We're not going to have to do so much stuff like I did in last spring in April when we weren't going to be coming back to the boat for 7 months. So I'm not going to take lines down, things like that, but we'll take the sails down, we'll take the dinghy apart, and any other like really obvious big things we can just pop off and save from being hit by wind and sun for that time. We're gone for 2 months. So I'm going to get to work with the dinghy now to start with.
Not about to pay $3 per load just to dry it when we have all of this wind and solar energy right here. That's a beer and a taco, if you ask me.
With our laundry done, the sails and dinghy tucked away, and a number of other tasks completed to put Clyde to sleep while we are away, we moved into the offshore prep list. Trevor serviced the reefing winch on the mast, and the next day we headed to the grocery store to load up on all the non-perishable items we could fit on board. Knowing that this would certainly be the least expensive spot to shop for the foreseeable future, we weren't shy in stocking up on our Mexican favorites, and my expedition logistics experience definitely came in handy here. And as we edit this video 6 months later, we are still enjoying a plethora of Mexican food that we still have aboard.
How many cookies do we need for this?
Probably more than that.
Definitely. Let's count them.
So we're getting there on the packing. Well, Kat is. She's doing a top-notch job. And it's amazing how this boat absorbs stuff into the holds and you don't even know it's there after. It's fantastic. So we're carrying on here. We got quite a few cookies, but I think we're going to need more. Hey, Kat?
Cookies can definitely make us go around the world.
Yeah.
We'll have one bag of Doritos from the middle of the ocean. I think these will get crushed pretty quickly.
Hey, Kat.
Bye, Clyde. I know, mixed feelings. It's like, feels good. I feel like Clyde's in a really good place right now. Both like, you know, where he's at in the world. We did a lot of really good work to prepare for our offshore portion of our journey home, and also just like little cute stuff in the galley, and Trevor finally getting to dealing with all the cords underneath the Dodger. So it feels really good, but it also feels really bittersweet to be leaving, since it's been solidly our home. We haven't slept anywhere else besides on the boat in the last 4 months. And now we're about to blast off on a whole bunch of other adventures around the world. And so that's really exciting too. But I feel sad to be leaving him. What about you, Trevor?
Yeah, it always feels a little sad to be leaving the boat when you know you're not going to be back to it for a little while. This stint is just under 2 months, so not too long. It's going to fly by because, as Kat said, we are going to be doing a lot of adventures. We're heading first to Seattle and then to Canada to see my family, and then we're flying to Nepal and then trekking in Nepal, including up to the Mount Everest base camp, which Kat is leading a trek to, and I get to join this time. And then we're flying to Turkey and spending 4 days there, and then Mexico City, 2 days there, and then finally back to the boat at the end of April. And we'll be launching off to Hawaii from there. So it's almost time to go haul out. We're in the pilot truck and we're heading to the dry storage. Clyde's up ahead. We're going to take the lead in a second. And yeah, everything went just perfectly smooth. The wind was actually not so bad. Enough to keep it interesting, but all good. There it is.
There goes Clyde. Making the turn. Bye, Clyde.
On our way to the bus station in this busy rush hour in Guaymas. Back to America, then Canada.
And so just like that, our winter sailing adventures were over and we returned home to prepare for a different kind of journey. In the next episode, we shift gears away from sailing as we fly to Nepal and go trek amongst the highest mountains on Earth. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.